Organic portals, why they do what they do. And I mean, in a very large way, think about if you have two species, which people are saying they're pre-Adamic man, the organic portal, and so and that makes sense in concrescence, because it's a group before concrescence goes into a pinnacle in, say, a smaller souled human vectorized population. That would go along with concrescence. Now, if you have two different cultures, you can imagine the second one, why would it do what it does? Say when time machine or some kind of time travel ability of some sort, whether it's just being able to get a message back in time or whatever, they would try to destroy the first species because they would be jealous. And that's how I see what the organic portals are doing to souled humans, trying to destroy our kind, essentially. Essentially, they're trying to destroy our kind because they're jealous, and they know at some level they can't do what we can do, and they don't understand it, and they put it all off as either magic or not real, and those sorts of things. So why they do what they do is because you can imagine when you've got two races and the one that knows it's in second place, then it's going to try and hang on for in the future, so it's remembered, not so the other person is first place and remembered, but so it's remembered. And that's why I think the organic portals do what they do. The matrix hive mind, it's surface virus, it's disconnected from the higher dimensions, basically. It's a lower dimensional surface virus. As we come down dimensionally, we become slow, crude, frozen light, or frozen music. All this physical stuff is architecture, it's frozen music, frozen cosmic music. And that's essentially what our bodies are too. Everything is frozen music. If you understand the fractal pattern, it must have a sound associated with the particle and so on. There must be sound associated that creates this moving light ocean of physical stuff, but it's really electrical moving light. So what's interesting is that if you have two species, which people are saying organic portals are pre-Adamic man, which makes sense, I said, in my understanding of how things seem to be getting more complex. I mean, if you look even, a decade back, you don't even have to look 100,000 years back or something like this, you can see that things are getting more complex a decade ago or in a few years, so the idea that there is concrescence and forward movement while things get more and more complex, not less and less complex. It doesn't go less complex and change is the only constant, and it's the other way. It's more and more complex and change is the only constant. So why they do what they do, I think, comes down to that very simple thing. It is somewhat conscious, this surface virus, and I think it wants to be, you see, and it can feel it's like feeling its death coming. So it is a type of sentience, that it has a time limit, and yeah, it knows that it's on the edge of demise, sort of thing, this ego consciousness, this surface virus, thinking with other people's thoughts only, and not being vertically spirit, your own spiritual self within your own light column. It's thought of that way, like vertical on the horizontal cross of matter. So if you're always thinking with other people's thoughts, you might be organic portal. I mean, do you make up your whole entire brain schemata from others? Or is, I don't know, some good percentage of your brain schemata from your perception? And from your real thoughts inside, you know. At least have you thought about it. I have a rule, you know, I try to always think twice, because just to check at the very least. Run that code on yourself, because then it's like, well, you gotta at least check, think again. Then you know, sometimes you see you're wrong, or it was not the best it could be. But in this case, we're talking about just to check if you thought it, or if you really think it. Whatever it is that you're thinking, do you really think that? So you sort of think over it more than once. Anyway, so I think that's why they do what they do. There's a sense of wanting to be saved or something, you know. It wants to be saved in the universe and remembered or something. This surface virus, these organic portals, one group soul people, and spiritless humans, because they don't have their own spirit and higher self, basically.
consciousazine.com Chronicle.